I understand that some of you are in the market for a new iPhone, but you just can't quite decide which iPhone you ought to get. Well, if you stick with me throughout the length of this video, you will find out reasons why I feel the iPhone XR is your best choice. Let's crack the box. Alright, y'all, so here we are unboxing iPhone XR product red. Now, before I crack this phone out of the box, you guys already know I like to go down the spec sheet, find out exactly what we're dealing with here. Alright, now, real quick, talk about the price. 64 gig variant, which is what this is, $749.99. 128 gig variant, I believe there's a $50 difference. I believe that's sitting at a cool $799. And then I know that there's a 256 gig. I think that one is $850. I could be wrong on that one. Don't quote me on that one. But I believe that's what it is. And so even though this is the more budget-friendly iPhone Apple is claiming, it's still kind of pricey, you know. $750 that's still up there, you know what I mean. It stops the bleeding a little bit. It's not $1,000, which is what you're going to pay for the XS. It's not $1,100, which is what you're going to pay for the XS Max, but it's still $750. That's still a lot of money that you're paying for a phone. Now, the good thing is this phone has been released at all the major carriers, and all the major carriers are offering installment plan options. And so if you don't want to pay for this phone outright, you do not have to do so. Depending on your credit class, you can literally walk into any of these stores and just put down the taxes, and they're going to put you on a 24-month installment plan for the next 2 years, and you're going to be making payments. They're just going to add it to your month, to your bill every month, add it to your plan, and there you go. I know that there's a buy one get one free BOGO deal that they've had going on. I know that that was going on at T-Mobile and Verizon. I'm not exactly sure when the last date for that is going to be, but basically how you take advantage of that is you purchase one of these and put it on an installment plan, pay your taxes, and then for the second device, you also just pay the taxes for that one. And then what Verizon does is for the 24 months that you're paying on the one that you paid for initially, you got to pay the taxes for the second one, but then they're going to add a credit to the account every month for the next 24 months. Or if you pay your device off early, then they're basically just going to match whatever you pay. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that that second device is free. But the stipulation is you have to start another line. That's the stipulation. Okay? So be cautious of that. It's not like they're just, hey, oh man, you know, I just pay the taxes and I'm getting a free phone. No, there has to be a line that's going to be associated with every phone that you take out of a carrier store. They're not just going to sell you a phone unless you already have a line and you have a device and that device is paid off. Or if the device is like an unlocked device and you want to buy a phone and it's compatible with their SIM card, then they'll sell your phone outright without having you start a line. So just be mindful of that. There is a BOGO deal going on right now for this phone. But in order to take advantage of it, you have to start an additional line. All right. Now, the specs, the specifications, 6.1 inch liquid retina HD LCD display. Not an OLED display, an LCD display. We have no HDR compatibility. We have no 3D touch. The screen resolution is 1792 by 828, and the PPI pixel density is 326. We are running the A12 Bionic chip. We've got 64 gigs of storage that cannot be expanded. We have a 4-core GPU as opposed to the 3. And we've got 3 gigs of RAM as opposed to the 4 gigs of RAM that we find on the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. Now, that should not be a big of a deal, because if you guys did not realize, a lot of these iPhones before the iPhone X was released was operating off of a gig or 2 of RAM. And surprisingly, they were pushing out better benchmark scores than some of Android devices that were top spec'd. So basically what I'm saying by saying that is iPhones always perform well. So the fact that it only has 3 gigs of RAM as opposed to 4, I'm not even tripping over that. And neither should you. All right. Now, cameras. And we are running iOS 12, which is the latest Apple software, fresh out of the box. Now, the cameras. We do not have a dual camera setup on the rear of this device. We've just got one 12 megapixel sensor with an f1.8 aperture. We do have optical image stabilization. We have a 5-time digital zoom, as opposed to a 10-time digital zoom that we will find on the iPhone X and the iPhone X, the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. Okay, not 10. We do not have a 2-time optical zoom like we would find on the iPhone XS or the iPhone XS Max. Now, also, you got to remember the portrait lighting under the portrait mode. For the primary camera, the camera on the back, if you were taking a portrait shot, you do not get 5 effects like you do on the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. You only get 3 effects, and those effects are natural, natural, studio, and contour. You don't get stage, stage or stage mono effect like you would get on the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. Now, the front-facing camera is the exact same as what we find on the iPhone XS and the iPhone XS Max. No differences there at all whatsoever. Okay, so the same quality that you're getting from the more expensive ones, you're also getting here on the iPhone XR. As you can see, I've got the product red version right here. Red is my absolute favorite color. Why? Because it's the color of love. I feel like I was put on this earth to shed the love and spread the joy. You know what I'm saying? If I was a gang member, you know what I'm saying, I'll be a blood, you know what I'm saying? Just because I'm a, red is my favorite color, and I like to rep that bright red. I'm glad them days is over where they ain't shooting and killing cats, you know what I'm saying, for wearing wrong colors, you know what I'm saying? Because I got some fits with some bright red in it, you know what I'm saying? And I be out there stunting on them. I be cold on them, you know what I'm saying, with that red on, you know what I'm saying? So, man, I mean, thank goodness for the gang war peace treaty back in the later mid 90s or whenever that happened, man. You know what I'm saying? Because it was crazy where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? You was getting shot at for wearing the wrong color. It's like, damn. But, yeah, so the FaceTime camera is the exact same. All right. Now, battery. We've got a 2,942 milliamp hour cell. Interestingly enough, they are saying that this battery is supposed to be the longest lasting battery, although the battery in the iPhone XS Max is bigger. Things that make us go, the Max has the bigger battery. This has a smaller battery, but yet they're saying that this battery has the most staying power. Okay? This battery has the most Barry White staying power. You know what I'm saying? Oh, y'all ain't heard that? Man, rest in peace to the late and great Barry White, man. Google the song Staying Power by Barry White. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That, your lady might put a little something on you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Barry White to do that for you, man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Now, of course, we don't get the fast charger in the box. And I think that that's another highway robbery tactic on behalf of Apple, because they charge these ridiculous prices for these phones, and you can't even give us the decency of putting the fast charger in the box. It's a separate accessory that we have to truck down to our nearest Apple store or whatever store that sells these fast chargers for the iPhones, and we have to buy them as separate accessories. But the cool thing is, if you are willing to splurge your money on one of these fast chargers, it does charge from 0 to 50 in 30 minutes. Just like the OnePlus 6 and the 6T and a lot of other devices out there that have fast charging technology. But the difference is those fast chargers come in the box. Apple, you might want to take heed, bruh. You know? Now, the colors that you can get this in. You can get it in blue, white, black, yellow, coral, and product red. Now, I'm very excited about this phone because this is my second red phone that I've ever had in 40 years of life. The first red phone that I had was the big Nokia 1520. You guys remember that? Windows phone. Nokia 1520. It was a big square. It was like a 6-inch display. And it was a Windows phone. And it was nice. I like that phone. That was the first red phone that I had. So this is the second red phone that I have. Product red. I'm excited about it. Other notable features, we've got Bluetooth 5.0, Face ID. We've got IP67 water and dust resistant as opposed to IP68. And so as opposed to going 2 meters, it's submerged completely underwater, which is what you'll see on a device that has an IP rating of IP68. With IP67, you can only go 1 meter. So that may be something that you guys need to be mindful of. Me, personally, not so much, because I don't plan on ever submerging my phone in water. But it's good to know that it has that. So if you drop something, spill a drink or spill some water, or, you know, you talking on the phone, you know what I'm saying? I mean, while you're urinating and it slips off your shoulder and it falls into the toilet, hey, I mean, you know, is it still your phone? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know it's still going to work if it doesn't crack in the toilet, but would you consider that pathological waste? I'm just messing with y'all, man. I'm just tripping with y'all. But yeah, and we do have wireless charging. The phone is Qi enabled. So without further ado, man, that's it. Come on, man. All this talking, all this chitter chatter, man. Let's get this phone cracked out this box. You know what I'm saying? Let's crack this box. Shout out to one of my subscribers that hit me with that. He said he thought it was funny how I'm like always saying, let's crack this box. And a lot of these phones are made with glass on the front and back. So it's like, you know, let's crack this box. Glass phone, easily can crack. Although it's been said that this phone has been very durable. Very durable, which is very surprising. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get underway with the unboxing. Now, we take out the box, or take off the top of the box, and typical iPhone orientation, but the fact that this is the product red, then you get the red Apple logo, the red iPhone logo, obviously the red iPhone device, and then the iPhone on the side. And then it's like that for every color that you choose. So I mean, if I had the blue one, then it's just going to be the same. The Apple logo is going to be blue, the phone on the box is going to be blue, the iPhone right there is going to be blue, blah, 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 blah. All right, now, for all the paperwork and all of your trolling paraphernalia, you see we've got the product red. Hello from Cupertino, California. Here's your SIM tool right there. Okay, and you've got some little Apple stickers right there to troll all your Android partners. You know, slap that on the back of their Google Pixel 3 or their OnePlus 6T. Alright, whatever, I'm not going to fool with that. Now, here is the device. Ooh. Sexy, sexy, sexy. My goodness. Alright, well, yeah, let's go ahead and get this plastic peeled off. Lord have mercy. That is gorgeous. That is beautiful. Wow, look at that. That's what I'm talking about, man. Product red. All right. In the box, looks very familiar. Standard wall charger, not the fast charger. Wired earbuds, not wireless earbuds. But these earbuds plug directly into the lightning port, which is right there on the bottom. And then we've got the charge cable. Okay, so we've got the USB to the lightning port. And that's it for all the contents that we've got in the box. All right, so now that we've got the phone out of the box, as I mentioned, this phone is a 6.1 inch display, corner to corner. On the right side of the device, we've got nothing but the power button, and then actually we've got the SIM tray right here. It's more so towards the bottom on the right hand side, and then we've got a little antenna line right there and another antenna line at the top on the right side. Now at the top of the device, it's clean, there's nothing up there. To the left of the device, we've got another antenna line. Here is the notification switch to either silence the device or have your notifications and sounds on. So yeah, it's a sound switch. So to turn the sounds off, flick it down. To have the sounds back on, you flip it up. Here's our volume rocker up and down. Bottom of the device on the left side, another antenna line there. And then on the very bottom of the device, pardon me, we've got what appears to be a dual speaker grill, but one of them is a speaker, the other one is a noise canceling microphone. We've got two little screws right there, and we've got the lightning port in between those screws there. Now on the back of the device is an absolute thing of beauty. As you can see, we've got iPhone, product red, of course, Apple logo right there, dual tone LED flash. There's a little microphone that's right in between the camera and the flash, and then here is the 12 megapixel sensor. And this is absolutely gorgeous. I really just wish that Apple would implement a fingerprint sensor where that Apple logo is right there. I mean, we all know this is an iPhone, man. We know what iPhone looks like. I mean, how come they just can't have the iPhone right there and just maybe move the Apple logo down toward the bottom, or just maybe have the Apple logo just be a fingerprint sensor itself in the middle of it, and you can just touch it and unlock your phone if you didn't want to have Face ID. You know, just kind of give you a different option, right? Now, we'll go ahead and turn the device on real quick, because I know that every phone gives us a little bit of juice outside the box, you know, enough to get started. Obviously, we'd have to put it on the charger to get it to a full charge. And I'm not going to go through the whole setup process because it's the same as every other iPhone. So I think at this point, I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to go ahead and get the phone set up, and then I'll come back and we'll browse through the operating system really quickly. Very briefly, now that we've already gone over the hardware, and then we'll go ahead and close the video out. So, ladies and gentlemen, hold it down. All right, y'all, so we back in, got everything set up, and as you can see, this is an iPhone through and through. Now, don't let the cost difference fool you into thinking that this phone has just been completely dumbed down from the XS and the XS Max. This is still right there on par. To me, this is like a cross between, you know, the iPhone 8 Plus and the iPhone 10. You know what I mean? I mean, so, you know, I mean, it's got the I don't know, it's an iPhone through and through, ladies and gentlemen. And so, like I said, I did a restore from my last backup, which was a couple of days ago, for my iPhone XS Max. Now, I wanted to compare those. Unfortunately, I no longer have my XS Max. I sold it. You know, I'm not in love and attached to any of these devices, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I buy these phones with my own money. That's how dedicated to this thing that I am. And the goal is to try to get manufacturer sponsorship, and you do that by obtaining a certain amount of views, a certain amount of subscribers, that companies want to see. And so once I reach that goal, and then, I'll no longer have to pay full cost or at all for a lot of these devices, but all these devices that you see on my channel is paid for with my hard-earned money. And so a lot of times when I'm done with these reviews, if I'm done using a phone, I'll sell it, I'll put it on eBay or Craigslist or OfferUp like that, and I just take that money and I put it back into the business. And so I had a coworker who walked up to me the other day and was like, "Hey man, I want to buy your iPhone XS Max," and he knows that I've sold several phones. He asked me what I'd sell it for. I'm like, "Hey, I'd be willing to let it go for this." He was like, "Man, let me run to the ATM." Boom, no questions asked. I backed it up, hard erased it, and there it was. You know what I mean? So it's like, I recycle money over and over to help me buy these devices. You know what I mean? So just know that this is all coming with my hard-earned cash. Now, I know that one of the things that people talked about was the bezels. Now, you see the bezels seem to be a tad bit thicker than what they are on the iPhone XS and the XS Max. You know what I mean? Is that really a big deal? No, it's not. I mean, we still have a very, very beautiful, beautiful display here. There was a lot of talk about, the fact that this phone had an LCD display as opposed to the OLED and how bad it was going to be. I know that there was a lot of different people's talking points after Apple did the keynote presentation when they unveiled the XS, the XS Max, and the XR. And people were just kind of up in arms and, kind of stirred up. I don't necessarily want to say controversy, but it seemed like the XR was a controversial topic because it's like, okay, what is this particular phone for? You got the XS, you got the XS Max. Okay, now they got the XR, which is supposed to be a much cheaper, iPhone, which it is. Still expensive, still pricey, but nonetheless, it's cheaper than paying $1,000 or $1,100 for the Max. But ladies and gentlemen, as we see, I mean, this is an iPhone through and through, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's got a gig less of RAM, okay? They took away one sensor on the back. It still has the primary 12 megapixel sensor that is on the XS and the XS Max. You have portrait mode and all that stuff. If we take it to the camera and we go to portrait mode here, again, as opposed to 5 different effects, you've got natural light, you've got contour light, and you've got studio light. On the XS and the XS Max, I mean, it gives you a couple more options with the primary. Now, if you swing it around to the selfie camera, which is the same 7 megapixel sensor that you find on the XS and the XS Max, then you'll notice that you have all of the options for the portrait mode. So you get stage light mono, stage light, contour light, studio light, and then you got natural light, which is the default setting. I mean, everything else is the same. You know what I mean? So you take away a couple of portrait mode effects on the primary camera, you get a little bit smaller of a battery than the XS Max, but a bigger battery than the XS. And actually, they're saying that this phone is supposed to last longer than the XS Max. You still get the A12 Bionic chip. You get a gig less of RAM. Like I said, who cares about that, man? I understand. I mean, the more gigs of RAM that a phone will have, the better it's going to perform, the better it's going to help with multitasking, the better it's going to help with graphically intense games and so forth. This is going to do you just fine. Be mindful, ladies and gentlemen. Before the iPhone 10, before the iPhone 8, 8 Plus, and the 10, iPhones only had 2 gigs of RAM. And in most cases, when they did comparison with Android devices, their benchmark scores were higher, even though the Android devices had more gigs of RAM. You know what I mean? I mean, so don't get too gung-ho about the RAM and everything. I feel like Apple, they optimized their chips and everything within the device to play well with all of its internals to perform a nice, buttery, smooth experience. You can't tell the difference at all between this and the iPhone 10 and the XS Max. With both phones side to side, scrolling, opening applications, you're not going to be able to tell any of that stuff by having them side by side. You know what I mean? So you're getting everything. You know, on top of that, I mean, you get like 6 or 7 different colors. I mean, again, this is the product red. I had to get this. Red is my absolute favorite color. This is absolutely beautiful. As you can see, it's got the glossy glass back. You know, okay, is it a fingerprint magnet? Absolutely it is. Okay, it is. I got my case coming from Amazon, gonna be delivered today. You know, paid like 12 bucks for that. You know what I mean? I'll drop a link in the description if you want to order one of those so you don't have to pay 30, 40, 50 bucks for a case if that's something that you want to do, considering the amount of money that you're already paying for the device here. But, you know, we still have great cameras, dual stereo speakers, you know, man, wireless charging, you know, I mean, I feel like, you know, this is, if for those of you that want an iPhone, this is the way to go. This is the way to go. 750 bucks, starting price for the 64 gig variant, $799 for the 128 gig variant, and then the 256 gig variant, I believe, is $850 or $899. Like I said, I could be wrong on that one. But another thing I want to talk about really quickly too, with the display, right? A lot of people were talking about the display and just how bad they thought it was going to be. And come on, ladies and gentlemen, it's like, man, at this frame of the game, we know that Apple is not releasing anything garbage. Okay, so what if they got OLED screens on their other devices? You know what I mean? And this one just has an LCD. What makes people think that this screen would not be good? Can you really tell a difference? Is the question. Can you really tell the difference? Is everything that the XS and the XS Max is packing over this phone worth the difference in cost? I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. That's why I feel like the iPhone XR is definitely going to be the iPhone to get, you know what I mean, in 2018 and beyond. I mean, now let's look at this display real quick, ladies and gentlemen, because Apple is referring to this display as the Liquid Retina HD display. Okay, it's a beautiful display. Now, we don't have any HDR compatibility. Okay, why would people think that just because there's no HDR compatibility that the screen is trash? All right. We don't have 3D touch. Big deal. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, ask yourselves, man, when people talk to you about their iPhones, have they ever really discussed 3D touch? To me, 3D touch is just one of those useless options, you know what I mean, that, you know, I mean, really the only time that I use something like that is when I hit the drop down menu and say if I want to, you know, toggle the flashlight. Okay, so you hard press on that, and you know there's different levels to the flashlight, so you can make it brighter. If you didn't know that, then now you just learned something on Pristine Mobile Tech. You know what I mean? But you know, I hard press on stuff like that, like the brightness and stuff. You know, you can hard press on those, and you see that I just give it a little hard press, and I mean that's very 3D touches. I know that Apple is calling it something different. You know what I mean? But the ability to long press on an application or anything that you want to do and open it up, well, it has to be an app that's compatible with it, not the Verizon app. But let's see, let's go to Apple Watch. Oh, well, it didn't do it either. Well, the point that I'm trying to make is, I mean, I don't even know what apps, you know, is compatible with the 3D touch or whatever this long press option is, but it appears as though the stuff that I normally would use that feature, which is like in the little quick toggles, that's really all I would need it for. I never use 3D touch. So is that something that people are really going to be concerned about if they don't have it here on the display? Now, real quick, let me take it to YouTube real quick. Okay. Now, let me just go to go to my channel and just queue up one of my videos. And let's see here.
The QuickBooks Self-Employed app gives contractors and freelancers the power of an entire staff. And
take a look at how now, look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful. I mean, looking at it through this camera lens. What are people talking about, man? Oh, the screen doesn't have HDR support. It doesn't have HDR compatibility. I'm watching this video in HD. Is HDR really that big of a deal? You know what I mean? I mean, this is... Let me go to the beginning of the video. Oops. My bad, y'all. Hold up. Ah, come on. Okay. No thanks. Look, I don't even need to turn those speakers up, man. That's halfway. Come on, man. What are people talking? Look, let me turn this up. What are people talking about, man? This is beautiful. It's crazy, man. The sound on here damn near sounds better than the XS Max that I had. I mean, the sound is just so full and rich. You can hear bass coming from it. You can hear the bass line. I mean... yeah, man. All right. This is stupid, man. This is ridiculous, ladies and gentlemen. This is beautiful. All right. You know, ladies and gentlemen, look, man, don't get caught up in the hype and all this trash and people talk about. People stir up stuff all the time just to have something to talk about. Politics. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to have something to politic about. And it's like, if none of these questions were raised, what would these people have to talk about? Why would they for any second think or feel in any way, shape, or form that this iPhone would not be just as good as the 10 or the XS Max? With what you just saw and what you just heard, and I know it's hard to do through these lenses on this camera, but what I just saw, I am totally convinced that the iPhone XR is the iPhone to get in 2018. To hell with paying $1,000 when you don't have to. This phone right here is the truth. It's the real deal. So what if it's got a gig less of RAM? So what if it's got 2 less studio lighting effects in the regular camera? So what if it does not have the telephoto lens on the back to complement that 24 or that 12 megapixel sensor? The fact is, you still have the main 12 megapixel sensor that is on the XS and the XS Max. So the same picture quality, you still have the ability to record in 4K at 60 frames, 30 frames, 24 frames, whatever you want to do. Optically image stabilized camera, front-facing speakers that you just heard that just sound monstrous. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I just can't believe all the mumbo jumbo that people make, the fuss that's been made over this device. This is the one right here. Jay Will said it right after the keynote presentation. He said it. He called it. Good look, big bro. Good luck. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling any and everybody from this point on, man, look, the iPhone to get is the XR. To hell with the XS and the XS Max and those prices. Absolutely ridiculous and unacceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much all I've got for the iPhone XR as far as the unboxing. Everything is identical to the XS and the XS Max. Again, we got a new size, 6.1. So that's like right in between the 5.8 and the 6.5. Okay, it's bigger than the iPhone XS, smaller than the iPhone XS Max. 6.1 inches, great size, feels really good in the hand, ladies and gentlemen. And again, A12 Bionic chip, 3 gigs of RAM, nice front-facing camera, rear-facing camera. We already know this camera's a beast. These cameras are definitely in the top 3. Definitely in the top 3. I mean, I'd have to say, you know, Pixel, Apple, and Huawei for the top 3 in the camera department. And then maybe Xiaomi right behind Huawei. And depending on who you ask, that may be a bit of a toss-up because Xiaomi makes some great cameras on their phones. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the unboxing of the iPhone XR product Red Edition. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel to support it and to also expose yourself to tons of more videos that I've done like this one. Definitely stay tuned because I've got so much more content to come. Stay tuned. I got the unboxing for the OnePlus 6T later on today. I'm going to be uploading, so that's going to be live pretty soon. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so that every one of my videos that I upload, as soon as it goes live, you'll get the notification just like that, and you'll be one of the first to check out the video. And you can be one of the first to leave me your questions or comments or, pardon me, kind of discuss with me anything that I may have missed that you want to see in the video so that when I follow it up with the pristine review, then I can go ahead and implement that information in the review just to make sure that I'm accommodating you guys properly. All right. Much love to all of my subscribers. Those of y'all that have been rocking with me for a minute, much love. I appreciate it. Those of you that are new to the channel, thank you for your subscription. I'm glad that you saw something with my channel that warranted your subscription. Much appreciated. I'm going to continue to do my thing, get my hands on these devices, give you guys the most accurate information possible as I can to help you make a smart, informed decision on what your next purchase is going to be for a smartphone. That's what I do this for. I know you guys talk about how long my videos are. Be mindful of this. My videos are more so geared towards teaching experiences. Okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to try to give you guys the most information, the most accurate information possible. And sometimes that just takes a little bit of time. I know that sometimes I can be a little long-winded. People say I talk too much, yada, yada, yada. That's just my style. Okay, that's just my style. Is my style for everybody? No, it's not. But I hope and pray that the most of you can gain something from the videos that you see on my channel here, and it'll help you with whatever you're thinking about getting your hands on. All right? So until the next video, you guys already know. Thanks for watching. Get spiritually fit. Stay safe. We're definitely living in the last days. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, man. Keep it pristine in everything that you do. And I'll holla. This is the product Red iPhone XR. I'm your man Pristine bringing the content. We out.